This is OSNG, Old School Next Generation. We're a dad and two sons who grew up in the woods and learned to hunt the old way. This show isn't about telling you how to hunt. It's about the stories, the screw-ups, the lessons you only learn the hard way, and the memories you don't want to lose. None of it exists without my dad. He taught us how to hunt, how to act, and when to shut up and pay attention. OSNG isn't a podcast. It's who we are. We're all freaks. And this is Old School Next Generation. Welcome back to OSNG. Tonight we're talking modern deer hunting technology, which means by the end of the episode, we'll probably end up sounding like three old men yelling at the clouds. Hunters today have everything: cell cams, hunting apps, drones, scent gadgets, satellite forecast. At this point, the deer are about one software update away from fighting back. So, is all this tech making us better hunters, or are we just spending a lot more to still miss deer? And how much of killing a big buck is actually skill, and how much is just dumb luck? This is OSNG. I'm Clark. This is Jamie. This is Jaden. Let's get at it.
We can keep going. It's fine. It's fine. We're good. We're good. Just let's keep rolling. We're good.
We're just 12.
All right. Yes, every man is 12 at heart. Okay. Pitter patter. Let's get at her. All right. Could Leroy kill big bucks today?
Absolutely.
Not a question.
Okay. So
He was a stone cold killer back then, man.
I know he was a stone cold killer before all this stuff. What would all this technology do for Leroy? If he had all of today's technology, would he kill more deer? Would he kill bigger deer? Or would he just hate all of it?
He'd hate all of it and just piss excellence.
Yeah, he'd hate every single bit of it.
You think?
Well, it's more work, so that would tick him off.
I don't know that it is more work.
He wouldn't.
I almost think it's less work.
Well,
He
I'm
wouldn't
talking
understand any of it.
I'm talking like off-season more work. Because I don't remember doing a ton of off-season work. Like him, we weren't running trail cameras. We weren't scouting. We weren't
not in the off season, but we didn't have cell cams.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think
He's saying if using those, it requires more stuff to do.
Do you think Leroy would use cell cameras?
No, not a question. He absolutely would.
Oh, yeah, he was an early adopter of the trail cameras. I mean, we ran the cutty backs. I mean, we've run them for 20 years before we had a cell
operate, a laptop clicking through.
Well, I'd have to show him how.
Yeah, I was going to say, first off, he wouldn't be doing that. He would just be 100% in on being able to put a camera in and leave it and not have to go back to the spot.
Yeah.
He would absolutely love that. No, he would not work a single bit of it. It would all be us.
All right. Would he use OnX or other mapping apps?
Nope.
He'd pay $20 for a plat book.
Well, I started to say he would absolutely do it because he always had a plat book. Every couple of years, he'd buy a plat book from the county. Yes, he would absolutely 100% use OnX.
But I can hear him now. Plat book's $20. You're paying $40 a year for that app. No way. I'll keep my books.
Oh, that part might be true. But yeah, he always had a plat book. He always was looking at what the different properties were, where the boundaries were. Okay. This is a loaded question. Would he use a smartphone?
We just said that. We just said that. If he used any of this stuff, we'd help.
Yeah.
We'd help him out.
He wouldn't have a smartphone.
No, it was 2015, 2016. He was operating a flip phone.
All right. What piece of technology do you think he would most appreciate that we have at our disposal now?
It's got to be the cell camera.
Yeah, that's
in the side by side.
Oh, I mean, we went back to the old big red three-wheeler. I mean, he's been using, ATVs and ATCs, and I mean, he'd like the side-by-side, but it's not really anything new.
Okay, so but we never had one either.
Yeah.
But here's the question. Are we talking Pawpaw from when I was in high school, or are we talking...
Yeah.
Oh, side by side, not a question.
Okay.
Not a question.
Anything to make his life easier, he's going to appreciate.
He wouldn't have to tie a buck down. He wouldn't have to cuss out the straps every time it breaks when it's cold. It's a dump bed. There's that. The trail cameras is not a question.
Yeah, he'd love the cell cams.
He would absolutely love not having to go check them.
Mm-hmm.
But he would hate the notifications.
he'd probably just turn them off, and we'd have to, just show him the good stuff. He wouldn't want to wait
Or
through
send it to
all the other stuff. I think he would appreciate the cell cams. He'd definitely use OnX because he used trail cams early. I mean, when they first started coming out, we got our first Cuddy back. So we used those, pretty early, probably shortly after 2000, 2005, somewhere in that range. No,
the first Cuddy back I remember, I was hunting with you guys.
Really?
So it would have been
closer to 2010.
Yeah, 2010.
Okay. Seems like
he'd
we ran them longer than that.
Well, he always wanted some,
They were so expensive.
but they were so expensive.
And the plans were so expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a Christmas gift.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got him 2 for Christmas.
2 trail cameras. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 Cuddy backs because it was a big deal. He was so excited that he got 2 Cuddy backs. Not 2.
And we still got
knockoffs.
those, and a couple of them, they work not great, but they still work.
Their infrared's going out.
Yeah. So he'd definitely used cell cameras. He'd definitely used OnX. We'd have had to help him use the smartphone. I think that, there's all sorts of other technology out there. He was early with the carbon suits, the scent lock suits, and all of that stuff. He was always using the latest technology. So I think he would use it. And I think he'd be even more of a stone cold killer. I think that he would have bigger bucks on the wall than we do right now with the technology.
You know what that made me think of?
What?
Bigger bucks, healthier deer.
There's a throwback
I
for
haven't
you.
thought about that in years, but you threw that out there, and that's all I could think of.
All right, so Leroy he was old school, but he would absolutely take advantage of the technology that is out there. Let's talk about some of that technology. I think one of the biggest things is, and I know for us, the biggest technological advancement that we use is the cell camera. We got our first one, 3-4 years ago? 4 years ago now?
It was the end of COVID.
I bought the first one and going into 22 season.
Yeah.
Well,
and now we're 11, 12, something like that.
Yeah, we're about
to be 13.
Well, we're at 11 right now because one doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta have it fixed.
The antenna got busted off. He never sent it in.
What a guy.
Yeah.
We're just paying
We'll
for
get
it?
taken care of.
No, we shut it off. It's just we've not had that camera for a whole season. It
is
broke
going to be
early.
170
in
bucks.
October. Yeah. Okay, so cell cameras, huge technological advancement. Like I said, we always had a plat book. The mapping apps, OnX and the other apps that are like that, I think are a big advancement now. And even though they're not, necessarily exactly accurate, they're within 5-10 feet.
Well, and
I mean, you have a good idea.
But he would also just look at his plat books. It wasn't just, or it was more of where's the property line, who owns this. It wasn't mapping and pinpointing certain things.
Well,
all of his stands were off of memory. Trying to find a Leroy stand, holy crap!
You walk 50 yards, find this tree, and you turn right.
There's a giant
you
oak
angle
tree.
2 steps to your right, and then you angle for another 250 yards.
Find the honeysuckle.
Until you see the thick bush of honeysuckle, and at that you go left 180 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, I was 12 years old trying to find a stand and walking in circles, knowing that if he saw me walking in circles, I was going to get killed. And I'm like, I don't even know where this is.
Hey, the best thing to do in those situations, and I did it many times,
hunker down.
Just stop, be still, let some light come in, because you're going to be able to see that stand up in the air when it starts to silhouette. That was the best thing. Rather than romp around, I just sit up against a tree, just wait, and then I'd be like, oh, I'm 30 yards off. There it is.
Oh.
It did that many times because of those types of stands. Okay, so cell cameras, mapping apps. I mean, obviously, our equipment. I mean, bows today. You've seen that old Fred Bear bow that we have out in the garage. I mean, compare that to the bows that we have today.
Well, and not just that. I mean, Pawpaw shot a top of the line 10-point.
Yeah.
I mean, that
crossbow, yeah.
That 10-point was like $1,000.
Yeah.
And I mean, you use a Barnett Whitetail STR and it blows it out of the water. And that is a lower.
It's like $300
entry level crossbow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even a question.
Yeah. So better bows, better optics. Okay, here's one, and I remember when we first got one of these, it was a major deal, and now we all have one every time we walk into the woods.
Oh, the scroll. No,
Well, no, I moved on. Yeah, but I mean,
Rangefinder.
yeah, a
rangefinder.
dial sight is a big advancement, but yeah, a rangefinder. I mean,
Yeah,
it
he'd fight
used
you
to
over
be,
that.
yeah, he would, but it used to be, here's the tree. I'm going to step off to this tree is 15 yards. I'm going to step off when you put the stand up to this tree's 25 yards. Now I got to remember that one's 15, that one's 25, that one's 30. And it's all memory at that point. Now we have the range finders, and I still do that. I still get in the tree and I still range trees all around me.
I do that a lot when it's slow, especially in the afternoons. You get in early, and they're going to be,
So
it's going to be a while before you start
That's a
seeing stuff.
huge technological advancement.
That's
Now-
the first thing I do when I get up there. I tether in and get my bow up, and before I sit down, I range. And it doesn't matter how many times I've hunted that stand, I will range it every time.
One thing that I've never been able to do, and not one time have I done this, was actually range a deer before I shot it. With a bow, a crossbow, a gun. I've never been able to actually range the deer and then shoot.
I think my first bow kill I had to I didn't necessarily range where he was. I ranged the trail where I was going to shoot.
Yeah, in advance.
He
And
was coming in using that trail, and I was like, okay, he's going to be here. I need to know how far that is.
I've seen videos where guys are like, yeah, there he is. I'm doing it. He's at 27 yards, and they dial that pin in. I'm
Yeah.
like,
How
how
are
the
they-
hell do you do
are
that?
you
All
moving
of
so
that
much?
stuff.
When
When I've got one coming in, I am locked on that puppy.
when that Sunday before shotgun season during COVID, I had enough wiggle room that I was able to check. Like I said,
Really?
he stood there for a minute, and I'm leaned up around this tree, and I was able to get to the range. It was 19 yards, and I put it down.
I mean,
But I mean, at the same time, he backed out for some reason. He didn't act like he saw me,
Yeah.
but
that last hunt that we had with that Big Ten that you made a move on, when he came into the block, I was like, how far is he? I can't tell.
You were able to range
and I was
him,
able
yeah.
to range him, and he was like 48, 50 yards. But then he kept going.
Are we
south.
boring you?
no, it's just bedtime.
Yeah, because we had technical difficulties
We're
for
filming
about
this
an hour before we actually were able to
filming
start.
this at midnight.
We
I'm
filmed,
not salty at all.
we filmed a whole episode worth of frustration and anger.
In words.
Yeah, we couldn't put that out there. There were way.
It
Not that
wasn't
I have
us.
anger issues.
It wasn't us.
Not that I have anger
It
issues.
wasn't
at
me.
all. It wasn't either one of you. It was all me. Okay, so we have the rangefinders. We talked a little bit about Dad being an early adopter of the clothing technology, and we've talked a little bit about this in past episodes. I'm not sure it does that much.
No, I don't
I've
think it
gotten to
does
the
much at
point
all.
where I mean, we might have a scent blocker piece of, apparel, but we don't have a scent suit or anything. I mean, Dad, he had the scent blocker
I
suit.
use base
scent
layers
lock suit,
more
yeah.
for layers than I do for the scent part.
Yeah,
of it.
I
and
don't know.
something that Papa did was he read and watched a lot of deer hunting content, and we hit that point about the time that
he
I'd
would
be
have
like,
loved YouTube.
oh, he would have loved
yeah,
YouTube,
yeah. If he could figure it out,
yeah. But I mean,
all the content that's
about
out
the
there.
time I was E's age, 8 years old. I mean, that's all we watched during the summer. I mean,
the outdoor channel. Oh
yes.
my gosh, yeah.
And that's what those guys were using, and that's all he was doing. I don't even know how much he truly believed in it,
He just followed
but
the big
he
dogs.
was emulating
Yeah.
the things that he was seeing. And yeah, I mean, I would do the same things as Lee and Tiffany. I would do the same things
Sure.
as Jim Shockey.
Mhm.
Like, why would I not?
Yeah.
If that's his information, that's his knowledge, then yeah, I'm going to do it too.
Well, we've talked about this before too. He was a pretty early adopter on North American whitetail. I mean, we've got literally a college education worth of North American
I got
whitetail articles. Dr. Kroll, and I mean, just literally stacks of North American whitetails.
They sent me one 2 weeks ago.
A new one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in my truck.
Okay.
James
I'd like
R.
to see
Lance.
that. Yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
shout out Papa.
Yeah.
Thanks,
no
dog.
kidding. Yeah. No kidding.
Not sure how he's paying for that.
Well, what they're probably doing is, hey, this guy bought for 20 years
Yeah,
and
he
he's canceled his
stopped.
subscription.
Yeah.
Let's float him one and see if he'll buy again.
I mean, a lot of information
Fishing.
from those. My favorite articles of
fish.
those. My favorite articles of those were always the hunt, stories.
Yeah.
His were the tactics.
Well,
His
his was
were
like Dr.
scouting,
Deere.
stand placement, all that stuff. That's what he loved about it, and that's where he got that outdoor content too. He loved that stuff.
I would go through books and books and books of just looking at antlers.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
all
look
I did.
through and be like,
I-
what's this?
Well, they
score?
always
What's
had
this score?
they had the scoring table up there of what every point was. It was fascinating. I
I didn't know about that. I just saw big racks.
I like big racks.
Something
Every
don't
8-year-old
change.
boy does.
That's right. All right. So here's another advancement that we use a lot, and that is the evolution of more mobile hunting setups. Okay. I mean, we've talked about the Lance Lavault Wengler Special Jones, all of they made their own hang-on stands that weighed like 50 pounds. They were rock solid. But those things were a bitch to hang. They were hard. I mean, it was hard to pull those things up. You'd run a spike into the tree that you would pull out, and you would set it on that because you could not hold it up there and use that come along that ratchet strap, or not even a strap, but a ratchet on a chain that was welded onto that puppy. I mean, you got in it, we weren't going anywhere. But it was hard to hang those things. It's a
were
lot
rock
different.
solid.
You were rock solid, but it was a lot harder to do that than it is now with the easier, lighter hanging hunts, the climbers that you and I like to use, the saddles that you've used, and now you've got a great lightweight mobile setup. That's a totally different thing than we did 25, 30 years ago. That's come a long way fast.
And I do think that if he was, let's say, Pawpaw of 2005,
Mm-hmm.
I do think he'd adopt some of it. I don't know if it'd be a climber. I don't know.
He had
it
a
wouldn't be
Loggy Bayou climber, but he didn't use it a lot.
No, I don't think he'd use a saddle, but I think he would be very intrigued by the hanging hunts.
I think by that time he'd moved on more to the ladder stands because they were easier for
Yeah.
him. But Pawpaw of the 70s and 80s, yeah, that dude was like you skittering around a tree. And he was like that he was my age and was doing that stuff. It was crazy, how physically he was able, to do that for so long. But that is something that has come a long way, is, the mobile setup, because, I liked, especially with shotgun, I just take a bucket in. I would hunt during bow season. Obviously, I'm trying to kill a deer, but you're also using that as, an observation point. And then come opening morning, buddy, if we had hung one of those, hang-on stands that you couldn't just easily move, and I keep seeing these deer 75, 80 yards away, buddy, you better believe opening morning, I'm taking a bucket in and I'm brushing in 80 yards away.
Mm-hmm.
And that worked many times. Well, now it's a lot easier to do that with a climber, or you with your setup.
Next time you come in, you go 70 yards further west or whatever.
Or you walk over there, you find that tree, and that's where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
And then you go set that up.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
that's come a long way.
I do think he would take advantage of that. I think that because he did the same thing with his blind. The blind was just
Mhm.
easier to get into.
Yeah.
But knowing how anal he was about knowing the woods,
Mm-hmm.
if he had the ability to hunt more of that ground without more commotion, he would have been all over it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, maybe the most controversial part of new technology: drone technology. Can't use a drone in Illinois for anything. Scouting, recovery, nothing. Some states, you can use it now for deer recovery. I think it's fascinating. I love watching the recovery videos on TikTok and YouTube where they put that up and it's an infrared, heat-seeking camera, and you can see that deer. I think it's great. You can use a blood tracking dog in Illinois, but you can't use a drone. You can't use a drone for scouting. You can't use a drone for inventory. You can't use a drone for anything.
I would understand
Illinois.
not using like drone for scouting and stuff like that, but when it comes to like recovering a deer you shot and it's not necessarily dead, or it is dead but it's 2 miles away, why would you make the hunters' lives harder? Why?
I agree.
The drone would cut so much time, and you would
And lost animals.
yeah, that
I mean,
too.
that's the big thing to me.
It's not even just deer.
Yeah, you're just losing that animal, and it happens so much, especially with bow hunting, that you would be able to find that. I think it's a huge plus, but we're not there in Illinois. Now, I would love to use one. I'd love to use one during the summer for inventory. I mean, that's what we do with cell cameras. That's why we put them out. We've had them out since March. That's why we have them out right now. I'd love to be able to fly a drone in those farms and go, all right, there's that bachelor group, and we've got these deer. I would love to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Can't do it. I don't know that you can do that anywhere.
scout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of. I'm sure people do it.
I have my own opinions on drones.
Well, tell us.
Nope.
No, that's why we're talking about this.
No.
You don't like them.
I didn't say that.
Well,
I mean, I
I
understand.
just don't know if they need to be put out there.
and we don't have a drone. We're not using one.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
true. I don't understand why a conservation group, a state group, can use them
Okay.
And
you don't
then-
know why the game wardens can use them
and we can't.
and hunters can't. Okay.
That's not-
And I understand why. That
And I've seen some fascinating videos of them
Oh, yeah.
catching poachers with them
have
too,
you
and I
seen
love
the
them.
one where they
In the
accident-
tree.
Yes, and
And
he's
he's
shooting
shooting?
at them. Yes, it's freaking awesome.
I think
And
they
I
should-
mean, karma sucks, and I'm all for that. But I don't get
Yeah.
why that's totally okay. But hey, man, this is a living animal, hopefully, or maybe not. And we as hunters, we respect the animals that we put
That's
down.
why I understand not having it for scouting, because you could disturb.
Yeah,
them.
I
and-
get that.
and
That's not fair
whatever.
chase.
Yeah, I agree.
But for recovery,
what is the problem with that? Why is that
for
an
scouting
issue?
or for recovery?
for recovery?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, let's say it's hurt, so you're just going to let
Well,
it.
but that's where it gets into that gray area. If it's hurt and it's not dead, now you've used it as an unfair advantage. That's where I think that gray area comes in.
Well, if it's hurt on the side of the road, what are they going to do?
I
You
get
know
it.
what I mean?
But I think
It's
that's
just-
where that rub is if every time you're recovering a dead animal, I think it may be more feasible. But
I feel like-
sometimes, and I've seen videos where, yep, there's your deer. It's wounded. It's not dead. We're going to give it more time. But you darn well know some guys using that technology would go finish that job. And that's an unfair advantage.
Well, but there's got to be a middle ground. So, like right now, you find a dead deer, you can get a salvage tag. Call IDNR. Hey, so here's what's going on, and you show them, and then you show them the drone before you go, and then they could go out with you or something. Something like that. I'm not saying sling lead and then hey, he's down. Let's go get him.
Going back to poachers and drones, I think they should strap explosives to them, and then they run them into the tree and blow them up.
That's already happening around the world.
I know. Yeah.
Anyway, so
Terrifying.
I think you should just fly it right into the tree stand, and that's one less poacher to deal with.
Dude, I'm telling you, that video of the guy that's trespassing, have you seen it?
they pick the deer up.
So the dude is trespassing, and they call the game warden, and he comes with the drone, and they're flying the drone around him, and they see him in his stand, and then it's got infrared, and they see deer coming that way, and the
you
dude
can
starts
watch the-
blasting
you
the doe.
can watch the dude in the infrared lift his gun.
Yeah, they're like, no way, and boom, he lights it up.
Yeah, you can hear it on the regular camera too. So they get it on the thermal, and then you can hear it in the actual audio, and then they go get him.
Yeah,
And they're like,
It's-
this guy didn't hit anything.
it's
So then they start
it's something.
roasting him for that too.
Yeah, it's something. It's pretty funny. And I've watched the deer recovery videos are fantastic. And a lot of states are allowing that. And I think the recovery part is great. Because again, less lost deer,
Yeah.
better. But I get the gray area with using it to an unfair advantage.
I don't know what the difference is between that and a dog. Like, we've evolved to where dogs are okay. I
Yeah.
understand we've used dogs for hunting for thousands of years.
But we don't allow deer drives with dogs in Illinois. You can't use a dog to run deer in Illinois. It's illegal. They do that in some states.
And I agree with that too. Not necessarily that you can't run the deer. I'm afraid the dog would get shot. And I think that's probably more of it than anything.
Yeah.
Knowing Illinois.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's just got to be some sort of verdict on it. It can't all be bad. You know, like, what are we going for? You know, what are we wanting out of conservation? Are we wanting to take care of the wildlife? If we're wanting to take care of the wildlife, then we have to ensure that they're being taken care of at every step. It can't just be while they're on the hoof and healthy. It's got to be even in the tough times when no one wants to talk about. Every hunter's nightmare. You know, that's
It happens.
more times than we would like to admit.
All right. So now let's move here. And I'll start with you first. What technology has changed the way you hunt the most?
Spartan Forge,
Why?
wind, air pressure,
Okay.
stuff like that. It's got all of it right there, and you can line it up and your core areas, the transition areas, and all that stuff on there. Like if we have a shooter come in during the day and we're not in or something, I usually always go to Spartan Forge and look, what's the air pressure right now? What is the range today? Stuff like that, and I kind of try to track it a little bit, see if I can't get a pattern going. And that's probably what I use the most outside of, I mean, everyone likes looking at trail cameras, and I study those too, but I kind of think I enjoy more of the Spartan Forge and the more information it gives you rather than just looking at pictures and
All right,
knowing
James.
when they're in there.
YouTube. I am a YouTube fiend.
Okay.
Everything that I do, I research. So it doesn't matter.
YouTube University.
Yep. It like
It's a
Pawpaw-
great learning tool.
Pawpaw was very knowledgeable. Pawpaw Joe is very knowledgeable. We bounce ideas off each other. I've got friends that hunt that I talk to. But if I want to look at something, boom, I can pull it up. If I want to learn how to, you know, really tune my bow to where I prefer it, YouTube taught me that. You know, looking at different, you know, mobile setups and things like that. Before I buy anything, I deep dive onto everything. What are the worst parts about this? What are the best parts? And people get paid to do that. And there's a ton of information out there. And it's right at my fingertips.
Okay.
During the summer, I watch hundreds of videos because I got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
You know, I'll lay on the couch and pull up a YouTube video. I mean, before Christmas, that's what I did with my mobile setup. You know, is this worth it? It's pretty cheap. I've heard some bad things. Well, yeah. And I've come to figure out that, you know, specifically with that, everybody has a stand nightmare. So it is what, you know, so it is what it is. And that's what it ended up being, was just a couple of those guys were just living a normal experience. But if I didn't have YouTube, I would not shoot my bow as well as I do, because I've tuned my sight and my rest and upgraded both of them. I would not have the same type of mobility. We would not be as aggressive as stated before. We would not pay attention to some of the things that maybe we do now without YouTube. You know, really looking at some of those small parcel hunts, you know, different aggressive stuff, philosophies. You know, we've evolved in the last 5 years for a reason. And that started with watching a group hunting on YouTube. And I'm like, holy crap, there's a ton of this stuff out here. And that has trickled down into everything that I do. So, you know, if the prompt is technology, so it's got to be.
And where I go with that, and I love YouTube videos too, and you can learn anything that you want. But I've always said this: I'm not a gadget guy. I'm not a tinkerer. I'm not a guy who is worried about how to tune my bow and all this. I use those for learning how to do a good calling sequence, what works. I'm a deer guy, not an equipment guy. I want to learn more about the deer, their behavior, their habits, than I do about this mobile setup will work with this, lightweight steps and
And that's fine.
I don't
but
care.
my question is are you not using YouTube to get better?
oh yeah, just in a different way.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I do that too.
Okay, so you are Spartan Forge, you are YouTube. I'm all about the trail cameras, the cell cameras. That is my absolute favorite as far as the new technology. That is, we run them 10 months, 11 months out of the year. I love that. I love watching. I love, right now we're watching the antlers start to sprout to grow. Within the next week or two, we're going to start seeing probably some fawns appearing. I love that part of it. So as far as the technology and what has changed my hunting the most, that's it. Now, next question. What's overrated? James, you first this time.
Dial in sights.
Okay.
Ozonics.
I want one so bad. They're so expensive. I won't because I'm afraid that it's overrated. They're so expensive and they've come down. You can get one for like $250 now, but I'm afraid to
Thing
spend
better shoot it for me.
$250. I'm afraid to spend $250 and it not work.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I've wanted one of those for years. We talk
play
about
the wind.
but okay, and here's my thought on that. If it works a little bit and you play the wind, how much farther ahead would you be?
Yeah. The devil's advocate on the backside of it is such an upside because you don't know. We haven't experienced it, but a lot of people swear by it.
And some of those are $600
And
units.
I am a believer in buy once, cry once. You do it right the first time, get it over with, rip that Band-Aid off, and you'll be all right. But we've done all right without it. So is $250 worth it? Because then we'd only have one.
Yeah.
And God knows
Where it would be.
Yeah. So like if it makes a big difference, then guess who's going to want one? And now they're making $1,000 off of one family.
Yeah.
So you just keep that in your pocket because I can't financially afford that. But
I think that's a great one because I don't know.
I
don't know.
If anyone's going to bring one home, it's probably going to be me.
that's
That's
guaranteed.
true. Yeah.
Ooh, piece of candy. And I still think they're overrated.
To be young and have no responsibilities whatsoever.
It must be so nice.
Yeah.
I don't like. Would I buy one? Probably, yeah, to try it, but I don't believe in them.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just don't
I'm
see
just
it. It's
afraid
not
it
going to
would
get rid of it. It's got to go somewhere.
Yeah. All right. For me, I think just the whole scent technology, the scent suits, the carbon suits, the sprays, and we use the sprays. We do. We use the sprays.
It's
but
the scent elimination.
I can buy a $10
what-
spray and wonder if it works or not a lot better than I can spend $300 on an ozonics.
But it's the difference
you know.
in the scent elimination that they throw out there. You can control it a little bit, not a ton.
Maybe if it lessens it, but you still got to.
But
play
you
the
still
wind.
gonna have it.
Still
Yep.
got to play the wind. Yep.
Wait, I don't get a follow-up question.
Oh, okay. What?
Well, just we went through you guys, and it was all
Okay.
scent. You don't have.
Okay. What do you think is overrated?
Well, I said the dial-in sights. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, okay, and moved on. Like you got no questions
what
about
makes
that?
what makes you think that dial-in sights are overrated?
Felt like that was a little bit of a hot take. I just don't understand. And I wanted one. You've used one. I've had one.
I just they're hard to get the right sticker to dial it in. That's the issue that I had with it.
Oh, the ones that I use.
You got a dial in?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that we all three had one.
Yeah.
I just, if you work with your bow enough and you sight it in, all it is a separate pin.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm shooting at 20 and then I've got a low pin at 45, it's the same idea. So like you're going to have a gap, and those are considerably more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was infatuated with them, played with them, got the PSE dialed in, and then I couldn't really get the Riot dialed in, but it was like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Because you drop, like the problem with my PSE was it would drop low, and then guess what? My arrow's coming real close.
Mm-hmm.
So like I maxed it out at 55 yards, and
What's the advantage of that?
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen smarter bow guys, and I just said I'm not a gadget guy, smarter gadget guys than me that dial those things in at 100 yards.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to shoot at 80, 90 yards consistently and confidently. And that is the sight that allows you to do that.
Yeah. But
We just aren't smart enough.
well, our stuff isn't good enough.
Yeah.
Like my riser might not be big enough, and I'm not going to go buy a bow to
Yeah.
be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, so like you would.
Yeah.
I did.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which it's a gorgeous bow, by the way. It is freaking gorgeous. I'm very jealous
I
of
don't
it.
have $2,000 to spend on a bow.
No.
I don't have
It
that
wasn't-
either
it
anymore.
was- it
gone.
wasn't, it wasn't even $2,000.
It's close to it.
By the
Yeah,
time
it was
he
like 1900.
Yeah.
whoa.
And I didn't
Oh
even
my
get
bad.
everything.
That's right. Well, I was going to say by the time he was done with it, it was almost. But no, I was up.
I think
one
the
number
base
too
was
far.
14 or something.
Oh, I know. It is gorgeous. Though.
All right. So what tech could we not live without?
Cell cams.
For me, it would be cell cams.
I can go without the maps. I enjoy it more than cell cameras, but I couldn't go without the cell cameras
James?
because I wouldn't be able to track them that I do with the maps.
New bows.
Gadget guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about that let
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
You know the
Yeah.
like those things. I cell cameras are great. I love them. I wouldn't want to
There
get
is-
rid of them. But
there-
like if we're talking about all the things,
Mhm.
yeah, the new bows are because I have pulled back that old Fred Bear bow.
Yeah.
And
With
that
a
is
no let off or
off.
10% let off.
Oh,
Yeah.
no! I never want to go back to that. So
Yeah.
bows.
Yep. Okay. All right. I get that. Okay. Now, putting this together, I thought a lot about this. So, with all this technology, does that make us better hunters? More informed hunters? Or just lazier hunters?
I don't think it necessarily would be better. I think it would be more of the other two. We rely on technology more than anything, really, and then and I mean, the amount of information we can get now is insane. So obviously, we're going to be more informed, but I think it makes us more lazier hunters than it does better.
Information does not trump
Hold on.
12-year-old.
You're saying?
Information does not trump instinct. So even though you've got all the information around you, what are you going to do with it? You know, so I think you can let it make you better, but if you only rely on numbers and figures,
Well, you don't necessarily just rely on it, but if it's at your
But-
fingertips,
what I'm saying is if that's what you're basing your stuff off of is analytics, that's not going to get the job done. You have to have some sort of internal instinct to say, today's the day. Like to go back to the freak. We just go drive around. And what was your first thought when you saw that field?
Better be in there in the morning.
Was the wind perfect?
Yeah.
It was?
For that field, if they were feeding in that field
Well-
overnight, yes, the wind was perfect.
Okay.
I would not have hunted that stand in the evening with that wind. In the morning, yes.
Okay. But for the way that the stand was set up, was the wind perfect?
No,
No.
it was blowing back into the bedding area.
And you trusted your gut because you knew that it would be a good day. Analytics, you can't do that because we've had moon phases that were supposed to be great that weren't. You know, you've got the rut, you've got transition periods, you've got patterns. All that stuff is great until you're not in the stand.
Mhm.
So that instinct has to take over more than the information at some point for it to be
well, I mean,
useful.
we'd have Antius if he wouldn't have missed, and that was calculated.
But
Based on cell camera data, you know?
you said today's the day.
Yeah.
You know, like you were pretty
again,
confident.
that was based on what we had learned from
And he said, "I'm going to be in here at this point on this day," and it all happened. It's just the arrow didn't.
just somebody blew it.
Yeah.
You blew it.
and we'll get into that later. But that's using the instinct and the information, not going, I just need to be in a stand, or hey,
No, I mean you use the information to help your instinct.
But you still
Like, I'm
have
not
to have
saying
the
it's all
instinct.
analytical and it's no.
I'm
instinct.
not.
I
I'm not
think you have to
saying
use both.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm not contradicting you. What I'm saying is you can be as informed as you want. I could know as much as I want to about basketball. Anything you can throw at me. But if I don't know how to apply it through failure or success, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to know it. Does that make sense? So, like, what I'm saying with the instinct is you are going to develop over time all your personal experiences, all your personal successes, and the analytics will add to it if you allow it. It's a tool. But if you only thrive on analytics, you will run out.
Okay. I want to throw this out there because I think, in my opinion, this is a true statement. I think that some hunters have become overly dependent on cell cameras
Yes.
because they're not taking the information they get from the cell cameras and applying it to the instincts and the woodsmanship and the hunting information that they have learned through experience or through education.
So here's
You've got to combine the two.
here's an analogy that is what I'm explaining. Second weekend in November, cameras have been dry. Where are you going? What are you doing?
Well, if I have the opportunity, I'm going to sit in a stand. We all know that.
But I'm not going to the stand right next to the camera that's been dry.
I agree.
Mhm.
But that's what I'm saying. That's
But and we've talked about this in previous episodes. Just because that camera is dry doesn't mean that stand 30 yards away is a bad stand. And I think that mindset that goes, well, that buck's not on that farm. We've got 3 cameras on an 80-acre plot. That's not valid.
No.
I mean, we've all been in the stand and seen that buck, and he never showed up on a camera. And we had cameras all around. Which brings me to my next thought is, are they smart enough to avoid them?
Yes. They know
You
what
think so?
they know. Like, they don't know what the camera is. They don't know it's taking pictures, but they know it was put there by man, and they know man is bad, and they stay away if they can.
I disagree. How many times have we had one at the water hole stare straight into the camera?
Well, it's
and
been
not
there
care?
so often now they're probably used to it. But you remember that big one we had down in the bottoms that year we lost it? Every single time he came up on camera, he snapped his head and he bolted.
Yeah.
He knew.
But I think that goes to individual deer. I mean,
Yeah.
he obviously was
Was
very
skittish.
skittish.
He's giant too.
You know, like Droop
well, that's
didn't
probably why.
care. I mean, Droop did not care. That was a big deer. That was a smart deer.
there were a few,
Antius really didn't care.
There
we
were
got
a
him
few-
a lot.
Yeah,
there were a
he'd
few
stare right
times
at
though
it.
Droop would
Well, yeah, he'd look at it, but it didn't
and
spook him.
It didn't spook him off, but he was. I would say he was
He was
more.
Definitely aware of it.
I'd say he was curious. You know, what is this
I
thing?
mean, how many times we had him lick it? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would say it depends on the deer. It's not going to be every deer is going to see it and go, "Oh no, man-made." But I guarantee there's, especially your mature deer, are going to know, and they are going to think, hunters put that there.
During the day, it doesn't bother me as much if they stare right at it. I don't like it at night.
I mean, you're going to sit here and tell me that deer have a sixth sense, and they're going to, right before they're going to enter a shooting lane, they're going to back out of it, but they're not going to avoid cameras.
it's a good point.
If they can sense there's something wrong in the area,
But I think that's a physical presence. I
Yeah.
mean, you can tell. You can have your eyes shut and feel someone walk into the room with you.
Yeah.
There's that physical presence that I don't know that you would get from an inanimate object.
I don't know if you, and we don't have to get into it a ton, but I don't know if you have felt the presence of possible danger.
no, I have.
Yeah.
You know, like, because when you feel it,
Been to some sketchy places.
right? Yeah. I mean, I've got one thought on my mind. Your hair will raise on end and you don't know what it is, but your body knows something isn't right. So with that, yeah, you're talking natural prey that run their entire lives. Yeah, I think they can
And they
do
rely
that.
on that instinct for survival.
Yeah. You know, I think that, yes, there is a difference between a trail camera and him walking into that shooting lane going, oh,
I feel a presence, yeah.
we're out of time.
Mhm.
You know, I think that there's a difference there. Now, if it's covered in scent, or
Yeah.
weed eater smell. That one.
Yeah, we
year.
learned
That's
that.
the thing is, you see people
learned that
do all
pretty
this
quickly.
work with chainsaws and they weed eat things, and we did it one time.
That weed eater must have been throwing exhaust and fuel.
We did it one time,
Well,
and
they did
didn't
not like
touch
that.
anything.
But that area is weird. We know that they haven't liked some things that we've done before. We know that that freaked them out. You can Pavlov a deer into feeling safe. I mean, Mike, the deer in the yard and in the beans right now do not care about my side by side.
Yeah.
They stood there and looked at me and went back to eating, and I was just standing.
Well,
there
but that's a
70
thing. Well,
yards
that's another
away.
fascinating thing. Is the same exact property we're talking about. When I wouldn't put cameras out, there were some in the field, and I got within 75 yards
Yeah,
of
they
them
didn't
walking.
care either.
They didn't care.
I think it's part
You do
time
that-
of the year they know too.
yeah, you
Yeah.
do that in the fall, and they're hightailing it before you get out of your truck.
Yeah.
Well, God knows what's going on at night. At night.
Night.
At night. I was
Yeah.
going to say after dark, and
Especially
at
in that area.
you know, God knows what's going on. So, boom, there's your threat assessment. Hey, yeah, that guy's not supposed to be here. And last time there was someone here, we got shot at.
Okay, so let me ask this now. Does the technology take away from hunters' instinct? Because we've talked about using the
does.
technology and combining it with the instinct and the education, but does that technology, is it eroding the woodsmanship, the instinct, the hunting, prowess?
Because people allow it to. We were just talking about that. If you don't take your information and apply it, and you just rely on technology or analytics, you're going to lose. So it depends on the hunter. If they're going to allow it and they're just going to consume themselves in technology, yes. Now, if you're smart and you take what is given to you with the technology we have now and apply it to your experiences and other stuff like that, your gut, you're in a great position. But I feel like there are hunters out there that are just, they're sold on technology and they rely on that only.
What do you think?
I think hunting's became too much like baseball.
The analytics?
There's way too many analytics. You can look at a dude's ERA, but know in the past that he's been a shutdown closer in the big moment. That's what you
He's
want.
able to handle the magnitude.
or a dude that might not bat very well but has had huge hits and major spots throughout the season. All of that stuff is great, but does it matter when it's time to draw? Like that's the thing is, yeah, I do think it removes some of the instinct because that's what you want to focus on. Well, this barometric pressure isn't quite good enough. Okay, well, it's November 15th, get in a stand. Something's going to move, and you never know. If that doe moves, he's in front of you. I feel like that is some of the things that we see, and we see social media now. TikTok is huge right now with hunters, which is awesome. I love it. YouTube's the same way. But are you hunting or are you running a Google spreadsheet? Because sometimes it feels like we've become a Google spreadsheet.
Well, and I think and this is where I want to go next. And I told you guys this year I want to bring more information. I want to chart all that stuff. And you know me, I like that stuff. I do. I like the information, but I think that I have at times had information overload that hurt my decision making because I've got all this information coming in and it's paralysis by analysis. And you go, I don't know what to do. I've got so much information at my fingertips. I can make a case for this and against this for all of these different stands, properties, scenarios. So I think that technology, that information, so much information in our hands can sometimes screw up that instinct and that decision making that we should be able to do.
And I mean, we've had conversations before where you've gone back and forth on what you should do one day.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what's your gut say?
Yep.
You know-
And that's where we always go back to, and that goes back to that instinct.
Yeah, you can use the information if it's good, like if it's good for the moment, but if it's not, you obviously you should always go for it with your gut.
Yeah, I mean, you can absolutely just dig yourself a hole with information.
Mhm.
I don't even know what half the crap is on those Tacticam pictures. I don't look at it. I don't care. I might look at the date and the time, and that's it, because I don't care about barometric pressure. I don't care about.
See, we do.
I know.
We like the wind direction, speed, temperature, barometric pressure.
The speed doesn't bother me. The wind direction and where they're going does.
I mean, and I agree with
Where they're coming from.
I agree with that. I'm not saying that that's not important. I'm just saying, like, even in the apps that we have, it's information overload. If you really want to dive into it, and how much of it is truly useful. Like, we figured out with our eyes that Vader typically was moving into the wind.
Mhm.
You couldn't really get that on camera, because how true is it? If the wind is swirling, do you know that it's a northeast wind, or is it just there at the camera?
True.
You know, like, all of that information.
Well, I don't. There's not a.
And I don't rely on the wind direction on Tacticam.
No, I'm just saying, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about somebody else that has all that information, maybe doesn't have the experience, but is buying in to this information overload and going, well, but the wind's just not quite right. He always moves on a northeast wind. No, he doesn't.
No, he's moving all the time.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about us specifically. I'm saying that there's all this information on this one little picture, let alone the deer and where he's going and who he's with and what time. Why? Does it truly matter at the end of the day?
Well, okay, that's a great segue to our next segment. Is it luck or is it skill?
Luck.
Killing a big buck. More luck, more skill. Jamie says luck.
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 You are the luckiest bastard I know. And as my
No.
mama once said,
No.
if it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have none at all.
I think luck is a huge factor.
Why is he Aristotle tonight? Why does he just keep saying this philosophy?
He thinks,
if I ran out of luck,
thinks he's Yoda.
Yeah.
Wait, you just said you...
I think the huge amount of it is luck. But, and this, when we were talking...
You gotta get it there.
And here's where I think separates stone cold killers from hunters. There is luck involved in every situation. Yes, we can use the technology to give us as much information as it can. We have to use our instinct and our education to combine that together to put ourselves in the best possible situation.
I was about to say, when it comes to things that you can control, it needs to be skill, but you can't put the deer in front of you. That's where the luck comes in.
There's luck there, but on top of that is and I've said this before, getting a deer in front of you within range for whatever weapon you're hunting with is only half the battle. The other half is closing the deal, and that is all skill.
See, and that's where, like,
yeah, getting the deer in front of you is definitely luck. Now, when it comes to you shooting, absolutely has to be skill.
Well, and I was going to say, I think that's where me and you kind of flip the script. I need to be confident in anything I hold in my hand that I am a deadly killer.
Mm-hmm.
So once it gets to that point, if I am lucky enough to get that deer 25, 30 yards or in, I know it's done. I have confidence in myself. Now, that does not mean that it won't go wrong. I've seen that plenty of times. But I've got to be confident enough that when that luck happens, that doe brings him in.
It's exactly how I was with Loki this year. I didn't shake one bit until that arrow flew. And then when it went underneath him, I was sick.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not talking like an overconfidence, just going,
No.
I can do
No,
this.
you can't be overconfident either.
But
Yeah.
when the lights are on, you're not peeing down your pants.
And the
basically.
problem is a lot of time when the lights are on, no one's home in this group. So
speak for yourself. I mean, I think...
can you look at the camera and do that for me?
Yeah. I think that is one of the reasons that I have had the success that I have is And
No, what drives me insane is you never shoot your bow.
No.
You shoot it the day before you go out.
Yep,
make
she's
sure
good.
it's still on. You shoot at a deer, miss, take it out, find out it was you, and drop the same freaking deer the next morning.
okay, there's luck there.
Oh, there's a lot of luck.
But
Share somebody.
Yeah, it must be nice.
But I'm telling you, and it's a mindset, and I can't explain it. There is a mindset there that I am freaking locked in. And when I've not been locked in, I've messed up. Antius wasn't locked in, messed up.
Were you locked in on Krabby?
I was
That was-
locked in on him. I hunted daylight to dark that day. I saw that deer at 8:30 in the morning. He bedded down within 75 yards of me and didn't get up until almost last light.
But what
I
I'm-
was locked in.
What I'm saying is that it was Krabby's skill or luck. Because I know the shot,
The shot wasn't great.
and I'm not being demeaning in that. I'm just saying
It was skill to get the shot.
I agree with that. You got him in range off that cane call.
And again, he was bedded down within 75 yards, and I was within 75 yards of that deer for 10 hours.
Which, if you haven't seen Krabby, it is on the OSNG website.
It's when Leroy's giving the thumbs up on the four-wheeler.
Yeah.
Yep.
163 inch, I think, 10 pointer.
8-pointer.
No,
Well,
he's a 10.
Oh, he is?
Well, he's a 9 with a broken brow.
He doesn't have any brows.
He doesn't have any brows. He was old.
Well, then he's a
Yeah,
he's
he's
a ten-
old.
he's an 8 then. Yeah.
Well,
9. He's got a crab on
Yeah.
one side.
yeah, because Krabby.
Crabby, yeah. But he used to have
He used
two
to have
giant
those-
crabs.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, and this is where, and I've thought a lot about this over the last couple of years, and this sounds weird, but I've felt it. When I lock in on a deer, especially one that I want to shoot, it's a zone. It is, and I almost call it, and you can look this up, and I did, because I thought of this and I looked it up. It's a thing. It's called prey gaze. It is.
Well, it's a lion staring at a gazelle.
Yes, and you're so locked, and that's how I get. And I have been very successful in locking in on that deer and making good decisions to get to the shot. Knowing when to grab the bow, knowing when to stand up, knowing when to move as they're coming in.
It's
And-
what I did with the ghost.
And
I stared at him through my cam for 30 minutes.
and I think that's skill. That is skill to get that to close the deal. And sometimes, yeah, it's luck that they're in the area. It's luck wherever that, like with Krabby, I didn't make a great shot on him. We found him. That was luck.
We also hadn't seen him in 6 years.
That was luck. That was luck. But it took luck and skill to make it happen.
No, I agree with that. I think the luck is sometimes just getting them where you need them to be.
Yeah,
Just
that's what I-
taking the right trail at the right
Well,
time.
yeah, that was what we were saying earlier. The stuff that you can control is skill,
Yeah.
and the stuff like putting the deer in front of you is all luck.
Because just because we get a deer within bow range doesn't mean shit.
No,
No,
I mean, like,
no, it's like I said, it's
nasty.
half the
Nasty,
battle.
Drew,
it's only half the battle.
Goofy,
the biggest,
Loki. You want me to keep going?
Antius.
one of the biggest 8-pointers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
25 yards, broadside on the other side of a bush.
Yep.
You know, so like you get them to 25 yards, but what does that shot look like?
Mhm.
Is it a shot? You know, like Bane, buddy, I couldn't have drawn it up better. That was pure luck.
Mhm.
Drop into an open spot, not know a single thing, and next thing I know, I got a 180-inch deer sitting there, you know, staring at a doe. Couldn't have cared less about me. Skill issue.
Mhm.
Which, and I was freaking locked in that year too. You know, it was just, I shouldn't have second guessed my gut, which is the instinct that I was talking about before.
I mean, there is no doubt there's a huge amount of luck. But I think when what is it? When skill meets opportunity, you make your own luck. I mean, that's
You want to talk about Aristotle?
Yeah.
No, I mean that's not me. I mean I've read that lots of when skill meets opportunity, you make your own luck. If you have the skill and then you put yourself and you use your instinct, your education to put yourself in the best possible situation, more times than not, you're going to have that luck. And I think that's part of what works for me. Yeah, I'm very lucky, but I think it's because I put myself in a good position to be lucky. I think that's a big part of that.
That takes me back to what I was saying earlier.
Mhm.
Your skill is getting in the right spot, playing the wind right, stuff you can control. But whether that deer comes in or not, that's all luck.
Mhm. Absolutely.
But you can definitely.
Did
up your
you just
chances.
write that down?
Yeah.
Was that good enough that you wanted to save that? Or are you just going to use that to tease me later?
I might
gonna
use that down the road.
He's a coach. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
No, I'm not being a jerk. No, I wrote that down.
all right. So how about this?
I was looking for a pin.
Have you ever done everything right and still failed?
Yes,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and those are the worst.
If I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all.
Oh, here we go.
No, those are the worst because those are the ones that you go, well, what did I
What
do?
did I do? Yeah.
You know, like, and you're sitting there going, no, that I did that right. This was the other option. That's not the right option.
Mhm.
You know, you play it over and over and over, and those are the ones that suck.
Nasty, Goofy, Droopy, and my first time ever turkey hunting. All of them went the one spot I didn't need them to go. Everything else was perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
Goofy walks 5 more yards my way and then turns broadside. He's 30 yards.
All right.
yeah, I mean that day, in Perry County, that snow morning.
Mhm.
I mean, I couldn't have done anything better. I had no idea the gun was off.
Mhm.
Like that was Papa didn't let us shoot too much because it was expensive. He told me it was fine. I go out, get the deer where I need him to, perfect shot, 6 inches off to the right. I had no idea. I was 18. I would have pushed a little bit more today.
All right. So have you ever killed a deer that you could just admit was 100% luck?
No.
I would say my 11.
It was bad luck.
It was bad luck, but it was good luck at the same time
Because it's a nice deer.
I had a 180-inch
But, yeah.
10-pointer in my sights, and I needed him to take a couple more steps, and then
But he saw this 11-pointer.
this 11-pointer comes in. He's looking at the group of does, runs them north. That big one turns north, and then I ended
Yeah, it
up
was
getting
bad
the 11.
luck.
So
I said no.
that was
I
all
said
luck.
no to start with. I'm going to go back on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What one?
Mr. Krabs.
Okay.
Because I don't think if he's shot at,
he comes over. Yeah.
okay. And I didn't-
'cause
I
he
didn't
was
think-
missed by a neighboring hunter. Yeah.
yeah, and I didn't think about
That's
him.
I can get that.
But like 30, that's a chip shot with a
Mhm.
shotgun.
Mhm.
And like, you put a gun in my hand, I am more than confident to get the job done. I've never had a problem, which I don't shotgun hunt anyway, but whatever. I've never had a problem
Oh,
with a
speaking
gun.
of, I still need to get my permit.
Yeah, me too. We missed the first lottery. I think the second one closes at the end of the week.
Nice.
So we got to get that
Noted.
done. Yeah.
But, like, everything
Thanks for
else-
reminding me.
Everything else I've done
Mhm.
what I needed to get it done. That one, 15 minutes after shooting light,
Mhm.
neighbor shoots and the does come to me. Yeah, that's
Well, like I said, I had a 180-inch buck 2 steps away from being in the shooting lane. Every hunter knows a lot can go wrong in those 2 steps, so I'm not going to consider that job was done, and then I had to go with this guy. No, he came out of nowhere, didn't know he existed,
Yeah.
and got it done. And 10 seconds later, it was a fast. Everything was so fast, and
Somebody's being inappropriate behind the camera.
and it was a quick hunt too, because we went in because I saw the big one the night before, and I explained everything to you. He's like, "You're like, no way, that deer doesn't have everything." I'm like, "I swear."
Yeah, we saw him the next morning.
Was that the morning that was the morning you forgot my shells too?
Yeah. It was the morning you killed the 11-pointer, and then we got trail cam pictures of
The big one.
The big one later. It's like, oh wow, okay,
Every bit of 170
Yeah.
might
Oh,
be
yeah.
180 with this
Yeah.
mass.
yeah, typical, huge, beautiful, long, heavy, wide,
Yeah,
just
everything.
freaking gorgeous.
And We went in for him. We made a move on him. Everything was going perfect. He got up out of his bed 35 yards away, made his way out to the field with the does. He started down the field edge at 25, 30 yards during shotgun season. Everything was going perfect. One more step, two more steps,
and
he's
then
dead.
and then Goofy comes.
No, not Goofy. His
Well-
name's Jackass. Here I come from the south out of
and
open field.
he ran the does to the north,
And he turned
the big
and-
one turned and followed the does, and
Oh, you had your
moved
shotgun.
you moved your gun to the 11 pointer,
You
and
said another shooter's coming from the south,
yep.
and I found a hole just a little bit more to the right. And as he stepped in, I blasted.
And we had to run coyotes off.
We had to shoot coyotes
because
off.
he dropped out in a cut
He
cornfield,
wasn't dead yet.
and there were two coyotes came.
Immediately.
Yeah, and I mean, I shot above the coyotes
Like
to get them to run off.
Like three times. Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever had to run coyotes off like that.
Yep.
That was crazy. Here's and I can admit this, and it kind of hurts to admit this, but I got a booner on the wall that was 100% luck. Yep, that one right there was absolute luck.
Did you nickname him the Phantom before or after?
Yes, before. We knew he was there. We have sheds, and one is there, and one is here. We had sheds from 2 years previous. We knew that buck existed. This was before trail cameras. We saw that deer one time. One time we saw that deer. That was it. We knew he was there. We knew he was there. We had no idea where he was living, where he was bedding. What are you
We're
doing?
just adding stuff to the table.
Just, yeah. Talking about luck. I said that one right there is 100% luck.
Oh, not a question.
Yeah. We knew he existed. We knew the general area he was in. The sun just happened to be right, and we spotted him driving down a road. Literally, it was a 70-degree opening shotgun morning. Dad had tagged out in the bottoms, and this is when you had to take your deer to the check-in station. We went to Wayne Fitzgerald, checked Dad's deer in. We're coming back to the house. It's hot. We're going to have to hang his in the cooler. We're driving down the road, and the sun is shining on that 190-inch rack.
Please clarify for everyone that this was ground that we were allowed to hunt.
Yes, yeah, but I mean that's how we spotted.
we're
that's
just
how
driving
we
down the road.
No,
and
that's
there's a
how we
190
spotted.
inch
Yeah,
deer.
it was right across from Dad's house on property we had access to. But we're driving, and it was like a spotlight on his rack sticking up out of the honeysuckle
That's-
around this small pond. It's beautiful.
That's how I saw Loki that day when I went and moved cameras. I was walking, and next thing you know, I see rack shining at that dry pond, and I put it up, and I see the browse, and I'm like, "Holy smokes, he's with a doe!"
Yep.
And I wouldn't have known if the sun wasn't right.
and that deer was looking to the south. I mean, I could still see it, and it's been 22 or 23 years ago. I think it was 2003.
2003.
He was looking southwest. We drove up the road, and when your driveway now, Dad's driveway then, when he turned to go into the driveway, I got out of the truck, pulled the gun out. Dad went on up because we knew this deer lived in that area and had probably watched Dad on the cattle farm hundreds of times. He knew the truck. He knew where he went. Dad went on to the house. I got the gun. I slipped up on the north side of him. It was a wheat field at that point that was, 2-3 inches tall. He was in this small pond that had, a 5-yard ring of what?
It's a lot.
What?
Nothing.
It's a tall wheat field.
Shut up. Had, a 5-yard ring of honeysuckle and brush and a couple of small trees around it. He was bedded in that honeysuckle. And I army crawled across that wheat. And I got within probably 40 or 50 yards of him. And he knew I was there, heard me, saw me, something, stood up, and I popped him. And he bounded across the pond, and I mean, I don't even remember if it was dry, if there was a little bit of water in it. Probably not much because it was hot and dry. And I stood up, and when I stood up, Leroy was watching from up at the barn. He knew I shot. He comes down the road, parks, comes across. He's like, "Where'd he go?" Like, he never came out the other side. Never came out the other side. So Dad didn't have a gun. I went around on what would be the east side, and Dad went straight into the pond, the direction that I shot. And I'm waiting, I'm thinking Dad may run him out the back side. I'm waiting there with the gun, and he starts hooping and hollering, and he dropped him right there. Dropped him. I mean, he went like 5 yards. Never saw the deer one time before that. Not hunting either. I mean, the time I saw him was the block of woods where you saw stud buck from the driveway. The year before, but we didn't know it was him.
I know, but still, you did.
I missed him because he's got a pierced ear.
But
he only had one side of his rack that year.
When you backtrack, though,
all
the information is there.
Yeah, but it was 100% luck.
Yeah,
nothing like having 190-inch, 100% luck.
Oh, and I'm not saying it wasn't luck. I'm just saying, like, there's this experience.
There were more pieces there than we knew at the time.
Yeah,
yeah.
Especially,
as you look back.
I wish we had pictures of the rubs in my backyard.
Yeah.
I wish we still had those.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Because it rubbed. We had, big rubs on trees in the backyard. We knew he was there. Before trail cameras, we just never saw him. One time we saw him. That we knew it was that deer. We knew he was big.
When you saw him at that block of woods,
we knew it was that big one. Yes.
Like how? Like what was... give me that. So I've never heard this.
Was pulling in the driveway and looked across to the northeast.
Deer.
But that's not true too, because you also
that look like that.
Well, when you draw on his daddy, in the same
same woods that I spotted him in a few years before. Yeah, I mean, I was coming up the road from the south, turning into your driveway, looked across, and he was standing out there. I had my binoculars with me, like I do. Only time I ever saw him. Standing at the southwest corner of that woods.
So how far or how early was that in this deer? Because he's 6.
Yeah.
So how old would he have been?
5. It was a year before I killed him. Yeah. It was before he lost that side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why we didn't know that, because I shot at him during a drive, but he only had one side. He'd lost a side already. That's why we didn't realize it was him until the taxidermist goes, "This deer's been shot with a 20-gauge slug. He's got a hole in his ear."
Yeah. So
how much bigger did he grow from 5 to 6?
Not much.
He's about the same.
Yeah.
Didn't you say you added the main beam?
Yes. Yeah. The second main beam was not there. Well, I say that was the side he lost. That was the side that wasn't there. So I don't know. I mean, this is the left side from the year that I missed him,
which he lost that kicker.
Yeah. So, but 100% luck on 190-inch deer.
Which the mask that he puts on.
And I'm going to say,
well, that was the one that the rack and the skull, plate. The taxidermist weighed it at, I think, 12 and a half, 13 pounds. Heaviest rack he had been a taxidermist for 30 years. Never had one that weighed that much.
I will say I'm going to switch mine from the 11 to the 12.
Really?
Well, yeah, when you're falling asleep and wake up with it in front of you. Yeah.
It was my 5th day of basically a bender in the woods, not alcohol. I was hunting hard. And it caught up to me, and I was about to snooze at the base of that tree, and then I hear a twig snap. And then he was with a doe 20 yards away.
Yeah, I about fell out of the tree that morning.
So
wait a second. Those are the
2 biggest deer he's got. I'm highly aware.
Hey, whoa. Listen, when it comes to all the other ones that were right there, I mean, 2 for 6.
Well, and that's where I think as you guys hunt more, you will convert those near misses you've had into kills.
God, I hope so.
I think that
Goofy
comes with
was
that
the whole
experience.
Goofy was the whole reason I started shooting at 45, 50 yards. Yeah. I didn't have the confidence in 40.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. My favorite segment. What would Leroy say?
Keep it PG-13,
please. All right. What would Leroy say about all this technology?
Keeping it PG-13 is really hard.
At least keep it. No, I'm not.
Leave it be.
Yeah.
The technology won't shoot it for you. I don't know.
Yeah, you still got to
I mean,
hit
I
it.
could totally see him saying, it's up.
I mean,
I could
Leroy was, we've all seen the Danny DeVito memes, so I started blasting. That was Leroy. You still got to hit it. All of that technology aside, you still got to kill it.
I could hear him. Don't mean shit if you can't get it done.
Yeah.
You know, like
it would be something like that.
yeah. I mean that
You got more gadgets than sense.
yeah.
Could
You don't
hear
even
that
know
one.
how to use it. Either one of them.
Yeah.
You know that he would put personal experience and instinct over any sort of technology.
And I think that that's part of what we miss now.
Yeah.
Is that woodsmanship. Because like I said, we rely on our cameras. We rely on our experiences and what we see hunting. But we don't scout the woods like Dad and I did back in the 90s.
It's because you pressured the crap out of it.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna-
that's
I was
good
gonna say,
and bad.
We kill
Yeah, I
bigger deer
agree.
now than you did then.
No, I
too.
agree, but I also don't feel like I know as much about the woods. I learned more about the woods that we hunt in shed season now,
And that's what
than
we
I do
use
any
that
other
for.
time.
We
Yeah.
don't just go for antlers. We go
Yeah.
for other
Oh,
reasons
absolutely.
too. Because we go to
can
parts
see,
that
well, you can see all the trails so well at that time. You can see the bedding areas.
Yeah.
The scrapes are still visible. Yeah, you get so much information during shed season. But yeah, I could hear him say something like, the deer don't care what app you got. They don't care. Just go hunt. Just go do it. That's what I think Leroy would say about all this technology. I think he'd use it to the best of his ability, but he'd also, at the bottom line, go, doesn't matter. You just got to go hunt. You just got to go get it done. So, all right. If you had to choose one, what matters the most? Technology, skill, or luck?
luck. I'm going to add a slash to skill and put experience, so skill and or experience matters the most.
So you say luck, you say skill, experience. All right. Why does luck matter the most?
Because every year there's people that go out the first day of shotgun season and kill a 200 incher while I slave away for years.
And that was something I didn't touch on this. Bad hunters kill big deer, and good hunters can go years without killing a deer.
Yep.
Absolutely.
No, I would.
It's all about your property, your herd, your opportunity. Absolutely.
I would take luck every day of the year because, as we talked about for 15 minutes, at some point it's got to be luck too. Like you can.
There's always some luck involved.
Yeah. I would much rather be the luckiest dude in the world and hunt, whatever it is I've got in front of me. If I'm lucky, it's probably pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But here is one that Leroy would say: blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Well,
if you're there,
blind calf.
blind calf find a tit every once in a while. I would still get that deer on the ground if that was the one of the three I took. Now, skill would also be one because then
No.
I know.
You
I
said
know.
luck.
Oh, luck's number one. It's not a
Okay.
question.
So skill experience was number one for you. Why?
Because when it comes to hunters like us, like we're not just a weekend person. We go out, they need a lot more luck than we do. We hunt so much. I think relying on skill and experience is way more important than the other two, because like what you said earlier is following your gut. The skill from the experience that you get, your gut will always matter, and I think that's the most important thing there because of how much we hunt. We are not just 7 days out of the year with a shotgun in our hands. We hunt all the time, October through January 15th.
Thank you for clarifying.
Disclaimer.
Yeah. I think that eventually skill and experience will overshadow luck. I think that more consistently that skill and experience will shine.
Because
But
anytime
it doesn't hurt to be lucky, baby.
No. Well, like those 4 I named off earlier that were that close, all of it was, thought out. None of those was, I'm just going to go sit in this tree today. Everything from what you've taught us, from what I've experienced, it put me in that situation. So the skill got me to that situation. The luck part of it, they didn't go where I needed them to.
Well, go ahead.
All of them within shooting range, except
What I was going to say is if I can shoot a bow out to 100 yards accurately, well, then my skill is going to overrun the luck too. That was my caveat to my other point is, if I become more refined in every single aspect, the luck will draw down where your skill is able to overtake. Now, at what point does that line get crossed? When do you feel like you cross that line?
Well, I mean, I think it comes with experience.
I know,
I
but
think
you've been hunting for how many years? When do you feel like
175.
40.
Okay, so you've been hunting for 40 years.
When do I feel like my skill overtook my luck?
Yeah.
10 years ago.
I'm not it's not a gotcha
I'd
question.
say
I'm just
no. I'd say for 30 years it was more luck than skill, and probably the last 10 years I feel like my skill has done a better job of putting me in a position to take advantage of the luck that I have.
I feel like that's accurate.
Yeah,
Knowing some
Yeah.
stories and
yeah.
I feel
I
like
think the
that's
last
accurate.
10 years, and that also coincides with kind of the time that I started getting more serious about it.
Yeah.
And learning more, which I think kind of takes me to the next thing, and that's why I think we love bow hunting more than gun hunting, because the Orange Army, I think, is a lot more luck. I think, by and large, the Orange Army is a weekend warrior that hunts 6, maybe 7 days out of the year, and they go and they sit in the stand, and whatever happens,
That also comes back
and walks
to-
by them.
and that also comes back to deer finding unpressured areas from guys like us.
Yes, yeah.
We run 'em that way.
We're
We're the
them
reason.
into the unpressured area, and then Joe Blow goes out there and
One
sits on a
time.
bucket, Friday morning. And goes, well, this is easy. I just killed a 13-pointer. Yeah, I've been chasing his ass for 6 months. Thanks. I mean, and that happens. Then that's the luck part of it.
Or somebody
It's-
moves in from 3 states
I
away.
hate social media on first week of shot.
I don't look.
Yeah,
I don't look.
It can be tough. It's funny because we run these cameras.
Congratulations
and
on
we're-
the buck I don't know about.
Yeah,
but
no, yeah, exactly. I've never seen that deer. Congrats. Otherwise, it's is that the? Oh man,
happened twice a couple years ago.
Better not send
that's
it to the
Mega
boys.
Brow. Oh man,
Better not
that's
send that one.
Antius. Yeah, I still want to have him on. I want to talk to him. We're gonna have to make that happen. So that's just kind of how hunting goes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you just end up eating tag soup. So
Hey, like I said, baseball and hunting pretty close. You
Yep.
go 3 out of 10 and you're an all-star.
you're an all-star. That's right. So after all of this, I think we finally figured out that deer hunting comes down to this: thousands of dollars in gear, apps that track deer movement, cameras that text our phones, and somehow we'll probably still end up walking out of the woods saying, oh, maybe tomorrow. That's hunting. It's the way it goes. The technology helps, skill matters, and luck still has a way of making everybody look stupid sometimes. We appreciate you listening to OSNG, and remember, Leroy probably would think we are just overthinking it all, and we just need to go hunt. This is Jamie. This is Jaden. I'm Clark. We're OSNG. Until next time, thanks for listening.